it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it.
And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it. And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it. Ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it. It's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it.
And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it.
And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it. And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it. Ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. A comma and
it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it.
And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it. And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it. And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it. And it's a ticket.
Welcome to another episode of Head to Head with Brian Parker. I'm bringing CJ. There we go. Yeah, there we go. Head to Head with Brian Parker. I am your host. I am he. And we are back for another week of conversation and craziness and foolishness, but we like it that way. Thanks for joining us. If you're viewing us, we are streaming live on LinkedIn, YouTube, as well as Facebook. And our show appears on our parent channel on Roku, as well as Amazon Fire, which is InPower TV Network, a part of Parker Media LLC. That's right. Anyway, so we got a lot of stuff to get into this week. First and foremost, how y'all doing, panel? Let's welcome in Miss Lori Parker. How you doing, Lori?
I'm doing great. Glad to be here.
Yes, me too. I'm glad you're here. Anyway, we also have Mr. CJ Jones. How you doing, sir?
Hey, I'm good, guys. Thank y'all for having me on.
Absolutely. So, hey, y'all, before we get going, we want to also let you know that Roku, as well as Amazon Fire TV, is the way that a lot of people are going this day and age. With the rising cost of cable, more and more people are opting to cut the cord and go to direct streaming and be able to stream the programs that they want without carrying a bunch of stuff on cable that they'll never see. Probably don't know half the channels that they have because they just pay this big absorbent amount of money for cable and may only watch a handful of channels that are on there. So with that said, Roku and Amazon Fire have currently over 75 million users worldwide. That is a lot of viewers. And if you have a business, a service, an event, something that you would like to promote, let us help you do that on our Empower TV network. Reach out to us at theparkermedia@gmail.com, and we can certainly figure out how we can get a 30, 45, or even a minute long ad on and in front of other people that otherwise you may not be able to get to. I guarantee you that the pricing will be a lot easier than what you would find on a lot of other outlets. Also, we are looking forward to tonight because the Hopeless Romantic web series that shows up on YouTube at 9:00 every Thursday. This will be the last episode. At 8:30, there's going to be a pre-panel finale of some of the cast that's going to get on. I'll be one of them. I'll be on at 8:30. The link is in my account, but I'll also share it if you want it so that you can catch the YouTube, or just simply go to Hopeless Romantic web series on YouTube, like, share, and subscribe, and you will see the notification for the 8:30 pre-finale conversation that we're going to have. And then the last episode 9, will get started promptly at 9:00. Yes, I am in it. Anyway, so with all of that said, what's coming up on the show tonight? We're going to see that in just a second. We're also going to take a look at a quick ad for another venture that I've helped get off the ground, which is the Creative Entertainment Network, another channel on Roku that is for creatives that want to participate in the film festival. So we have partnered with Film Freeway to be able to give filmmakers another place to be able to submit their films for viewing for a film festival and to either be selected, recognized, that kind of thing. So we're excited about that. On Creative Entertainment Network, a lot of those submissions are already streaming up there as well. So this is opening up a lot of filmmakers from around the world with more and more access. And just to kind of give y'all an idea, some of the submissions, where they're coming from, I'm actually looking at it right now. We just got one in yesterday from Ukraine. So I got to watch that. It's a documentary. And that's pretty interesting that it came from Ukraine with all they got going on right now. The one came in yesterday from Spain. 2 days ago, we had one from Canada. We've had United Kingdom. There's another United Kingdom, another Canada, some United States, New Zealand. That's some of the ones that I see for right now. So we are reaching out globally for this film festival. So it's not just regionally based. So it's a lot of different people coming on to submit their works. Some of the documentaries are hour and 15, hour and 30 minutes. And then some of the short films are as small as 6 minutes. So we've got them broken up almost like on demand so that you can kind of choose which category that you're looking more for. So very excited about that. So we'll do that. And then we also have a ad for Jermaine Parker Realty, giving a plug to the franchise and his realty company. He can help you find your next home and give you some really, really good information when it comes to making sure that you're prepared to look for that next home, giving you a checklist and making sure that you know all the ins and outs and the things to look for. So check this out. We'll be back on the other side.
Hello? Bruh, man, Trevor, you won't believe this, bruh. What? Bruh, tell me why I just saw Rashida in the damn beauty store.
James.
Oh, hey, baby. What's been calling you?
Hey.
Oh.
There's some things I gotta do. I'll call you later.
You mean your hoe? Trevor, man, I'm not playing with you, bruh. Now is not the time.
You would never do anything to intentionally hurt her?
Cole, I would never lie about something like this. Trevor, this is fucked up, man.
What do we want? What do we want it?
You guys have to back up.
But Cole's know something like this will happen.
Oh, Allie, you knew?
No.
Cole, wake up, Cole! Cole, can you hear me? Cole, wake up!
Clover!
Is it a good time to buy or sell a house? No, it is a great time to buy or sell a house. And at a time like this, having a realtor who has your back is key. Introducing Jermaine Parker Realty, here for all of your needs, licensed in both North Carolina and South Carolina. Let Jermaine Parker Realty help you with your next big investment. And there we go. We're back. See? Didn't take that long. You missed me though, didn't you? Everybody, I know you missed me. Anyway, man, did y'all know COVID is over? We're done. Oh, okay. Before I get banned on Facebook for putting out misinformation or they tag the show, COVID is not over. But having to wear a mask anywhere pretty much is. But not everywhere. So the caveat is this. There was a judge in Florida who has the ability apparently to override the science of the CDC and basically deem that public transportation, airplanes, buses, ride shares do not any longer have to adhere to any mask mandates and has unilaterally gotten rid of it, pending any challenges by the federal government. So what does that mean? That means if you're on airlines, they have basically made it optional. If you're on the bus, if you're in a Lyft or an Uber, it is optional to do so. There are still some local, hey Haley, there's still some local jurisdictions that still have mask mandates. So this is going to get a little crazy and a little confusing because you may be able to not have a mask on in an airplane. Excuse me, 1 second. I felt it coming. Okay, sorry. So you may be on an airplane where you're totally maskless, but depending on the airport that you're coming into in their jurisdiction, you may have to wear a mask in the airport. So the advice is still keep your mask with you, because depending on where you go or what jurisdiction you're in, you may still need a mask. And if you're flying internationally, make sure that you know the policy of the destination that you're going to, as they may still have mask mandates as well. So, this ain't like, when in the 70s where females were burning bras and stuff, and you get rid of all your bras, you still got to hold on to your mask. So let's not be burning the mask like we burning bras and having it sagging and we don't want to. So keep a mask just in case, because you still may need it in different places. What you guys think about that ruling from the judge?
I think it's a little confusing, but also because the mask has now been a politicized symbol. So even if you just want to wear a mask, even though you don't have to, you having a mask on is going to politicize the way you think, what you're doing, and it just gets a little crazy. And then you may be getting these individuals that are just angry. I mean, I know for airlines, depending on flight attendants, they don't have to deal with angry people. However, they're going to still have to deal with angry people who are drunk and that may need to be restrained in their seat because the plane can't take off, besides the mask.
Yeah. I think from the airline standpoint, when you talk about the volatile people, I think that certain things are open like a Pandora's box that will never go back. I don't believe that. This is what I believe. You're going to still have the same amount of assholes showing out because they're always going to figure out how they can be a victim. The victimization of America, where everybody is offended by the least little thing, and then they have to act like kids with public temper tantrums, is not going anywhere. I think the COVID era gave people cover to say, I'm stressed, I'm this, I'm that, and I'm going to just come out and act like a fool because, I'm stressed, and all those different things. I think it's a lot deeper than that. I think this is just an outlet for some people to be able to show their distrust, their distaste, their displeasure for whatever it is that's going around them. This is how they have figured out how to communicate their displeasure. It's almost like, you remember, if you ever had a kid, when they were a baby, they cry, and you didn't know if that meant they were tired, they were hungry, they were sick, or anything else.
We have to figure it out.
Right, you had to figure it out. But after they got a certain age, they can rub their tummy, they can sit there and, say food or something like that, and then you kind of have a better idea. Well, these people don't know how to communicate their feelings in a way that is productive and everything else like that. So I kind of think that even though COVID kind of ushered it in, I don't think not having mask mandates is going to immediately usher it right back out.
Oh, no.
They're good. What you think, CJ?
Yeah, no, I'm on board with both y'all on this one, and for those reasons. That little song that comes in my head from Happy Gilmore, whenever Apollo Creed was whenever he was helping my man out with the golfing, he played that song, "We've Only Just Begun." That's pretty much what I'm thinking in my head right now.
Yeah.
Bruh, listen, for all of y'all reasons, for all of y'all reasons, they just we've come to this point in society to where we're gonna hear people cry and whine about everything, but what is it really gonna do? Here is where I feel like it's gonna hurt us. For the people that actually need to be heard, we're going to become so desensitized to the criers of the world, to where when the people that really do need the attention, the people that really do need the justices, like the 8-year-old you brought up, I had no clue as to what you was talking about, but just a snap of Google, I saw it. And without even hitting the volume button, just looking at it silently, I'm like, oh my God, these heavy badges. So I don't know how much you're gonna cover it, but it's definitely gonna be covered on.
I knew you were gonna say that, and I figured
definitely gonna be.
Yeah,
because that's my thing. That's why I have Elephant Exposed. It's because of crap like this. And they do need to be exposed. We need to make these people accountable for real.
Yeah.
I have a very soft spot in my heart when it comes to mishandling of juveniles as it is. So I'm gonna try my best to keep it at least PG-13 in my language.
I hear you.
But that pisses me off.
Well, you do that. I'm not. I'm gonna call that shit what it is. So anyway, what's up, John James, and what's going on, Mr. Brad Compton? Glad to see y'all joining, and everybody else that is on the show. Please, if you have any comments or want to add anything, please comment in the chat box, and we will read your comments live on air. Again, we air every Thursday at 6 p.m. here on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, keep adding channels. You're gonna forget. You're gonna drop one eventually. It's like having too many kids. You forget their name
everywhere. You everywhere.
You know what I'm talking about. You. Yeah, you. Yeah. Or it could be like my mom who calls my daughter Brian. So that just talking about being confused.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, if there's anybody that's interested in me, I can be found on YouTube. All you got to do is just search my name, hit the bell, subscribe. I'll see you. I'll holler back at you. So yeah, so we get it popping on YouTube and Facebook now. So that's my little plug. Sorry.
All right. Brad threw a note.
Yes.
In. Hey y'all, they did release another video today where it shows them trying to de-escalate and speaking with the boys' parents.
But de-escalate what after you've already done it though, B?
I'm kind of curious about that too, because when in the story did that happen? Because from what I understand, Brad, and this could be contrary to the video that came out today, they manhandled the kid because they thought he stole a bag of chips. And they put him into the back of the police car. Now they did. When they finally took him to his father initially didn't even think anything of it other than the fact that, they were just bringing him in, home because of, the incident that happened. He wasn't handcuffed by the time his dad saw him and everything else. What I understand is that his dad.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, that's all his comment.
Exactly.
But after his dad saw the video that went viral with the way they were handling an 8-year-old, this boy was. My God, it was a bag of chips. Now we don't sit there and condone any kind of behavior when it comes to that. But they're 8 years old, and this is what we're talking about, especially as a community of color. When you have these early interactions on with the police, and then you hear about somebody running away from the police, this is effing why.
Right.
This is why they do it, because of traumatic experiences that they have in their childhood.
And this is also this is all right. So here is the other side to this pendulum, right? You know, you hear police agencies out there that's trying to, you know, quote unquote, be more transparent and all this other stuff. Why is it always after the freaking fact that when you know you got caught or when you know you got exposed? No, see, that opportunity is gone. That's a missed opportunity. Had you been thinking like that, you're always talking about you trying to be proactive. That's when you should have been proactive. The moment that child, the moment that badge came up on the scene and realized it was a child, number one, okay, you should have treated them as if that child was yours.
I think it also goes back to training. Again, at the end of the day, it goes back to training, and then being able to assess each situation. Being able to look at it to saying this is a bag of chips. It's not like he's taking a like it's a like is it petty larceny? It's petty larceny, but is it grand larceny? Like it's just it seems that police departments or just people in general have a tendency to overreact and overcompensate.
Exactly.
So, exactly. So this goes back to the whole thing because Brad asked a great question because it's easy to play after the fact quarterback, and I know that's what he's kind of getting at too. Is okay, well, what should they have done? Because it's always easy to say, well, that's wrong, and that's fair. So I'm going to tell you what they should have done. Well, first of all, this is why they talk about police patrolling communities that they live in, so that people know them and they know the police, right? So let me ask you this: if I want to do a ride along with the police officer, where am I sitting?
You were sitting in the back.
I'm in the back.
Yeah. Well, it all depends on. I'm talking about the ride. Wait a minute. Hold on. Let me take that back. Ride-alongs. If I don't have equipment and stuff, you would be riding up front with me, and I'll be talking you through it. Outside the net, we would have an additional unit in case if something goes down.
Correct.
So that would be the procedure there.
Exactly. So my point is there is a different feeling riding in the front with the officer as opposed to being in the back where your cage is.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
So what if the kid is 8 years old? He obviously isn't armed. He obviously isn't a threat. Why couldn't you have simply not cuffed this kid, put his arms behind his back, simply said, hey, son, I'm going to take you home to your dad, and we're going to talk about this?
That's it. Because number one, that's all you really can do.
Now, when they were talking about defunding the police and doing more social things, this is an instance where they were actually talking about, hey, we could have even taken it to another level if the cop felt like, hey, I'm not a social worker. I don't want to get into that. Even though you did take him home, you didn't book him. Then you could have even had a social worker take the kid home and work it out that way and de-escalate it that way. Having a social worker show up in my house with my kid is a whole lot better visual than my kid coming out of the back
more effective too.
Right. Coming out of the back of a police car.
Yeah.
You know what? But and I guess me having been black for over 45 years, I kind of had that little issue where
you need to add a couple more years on that.
Well, I said over. I didn't have to get specific because this show,
it's all right.
Because the fact that this show is going to age for a very, very long time doesn't mean that I have to land on a certain number. Okay. The show going to be around for 20, 30 years, like a time capsule. So people going to go back and say, okay, he admitted he was over 45. He ain't specifically say that he was, 45 and a half. But anyway.
A half.
Yeah. But anyway, this is what they were talking about. They weren't talking about totally defunding the police department. They were talking about reallocating some of those funds to programs where you could have more social workers show up at the parents' home and talk to the parents so that the kid isn't traumatized into thinking, that won't be the last time he in the back of a police car.
Right. Okay. With that being said, because that is absolutely what, let's just say, a certain group of people are thinking right now. Right. but I wanted to address what my sister just said. It is training, but it's not, sweetie. It's really culture.
Yeah.
It's culture, because
Agreed.
they are trained properly. You don't have to have a degree or none of those things. You don't have to go real deep into law and all this other stuff to use your freaking common sense. That's why you even put it on the badge from the very start. Okay, this is common sense stuff. This is just like, say for instance, like if we were in a church environment and you saw a little kid acting up, right? And then you know that there's a certain decorum that you're supposed to be acting in, right? Well, you're gonna tell, hey, you better stop that. I'm gonna get your parent. So you address the situation. You don't have to put your hands on them or none of that. Now you done put the onus back on the child. Same thing when it comes to law enforcement and juvenile law and everything. You don't have to handle that little boy as if like you're handling someone like myself or Brian or you. It's common sense.
Yeah.
The uniform itself, the uniform itself is intimidating. The fact that he doesn't look like him is intimidating. The fact that he got handcuffs on, and I'm pretty sure they did an illegal search and pat down of that young man. You know, then put him in the car. Now, I didn't, like I said, I haven't seen it, and that's why I want to do my research before I go in further to see if they actually broke law. I'm pretty sure they did, and that's why our man Brad here is saying that they're trying to do a cover. Of course they are. Of course they are. Because go ahead.
No, but you know what else got me, CJ?
What's up?
And this always gets me most of the time when I see a traffic stop. It'd be like 14 police for two people in the car. The thing
that's what I saw too.
That they got me was
8-year-old.
how many damn officers did you need for an 8-year-old?
I lost count after 6.
I mean,
and that was just me.
You had enough of them restraining them, and then another one talking to the dude that was taping. I'm going, well, damn.
Wow.
I said, damn. I hate to think if he had added a Pepsi to them chips.
Bro,
damn,
listen,
all y'all for a bag of chips.
All this does is just perpetuate the stereotype of black men, black boys. That's all it does. I just did a show just on last week about this racist instructor doing a concealed carry class. Mm-hmm. But same angle. These people, it's like no sooner than we take a breath from one situation, by the time we look up, they're doing it again in a whole nother light.
Yeah.
You got the same people in positions of power and authority still trying to hide behind ignorance, lack of education, lack of training. No, it's not. It's not that way anymore. This is culture. This is mindset. This is good old boy system. That's what this is.
Well, I just was thinking of, and I was thinking back into the 80s and the early 90s, when they had those, when they were trying to deter young people from committing any crimes. They had the Scare Straight programs.
Yeah, I was there.
But again, I go back to, and as you said, with common sense. And as I said, everything now is an overreaction. Plus, also, what's troubling is you don't just see an 8-year-old boy.
Exactly. You don't see the 8-year-old
white,
boy.
Black, Asian, whatever. It's a little boy.
Exactly.
But the fact that you see anyone that is not looking exactly like you are now going to get into that mode of an overreaction. And that's where where I was talking about specifically training in those particular situations, that using common sense. It just seems like everybody nowadays, because of crime and everything, we're just trying to push as many people out there, but they don't have good common sense, or common sense is not common.
Right.
Because everybody is a total overreaction, and it's very scary.
I can't
It's just
untrain
like,
stupid.
I don't want to
I
have
can
to sit
train
here
you.
and ask you to help me.
I
I
can
don't
train.
need your help, but I don't want to because I'm like, oh, something's gonna happen to me.
Well,
I
and
can't.
I
I can
agree with
train you
that.
in law. I can
Mhm.
train you in skill.
Yep.
I can train you how to even handle a petty theft situation. What I can't train you in is actually how to apply your senses to that situation to where you're not becoming a Tackleberry. For those of us who's old enough to remember who the character
Yeah.
Tackleberry was from Police Academy, he was the overtop heavy badge police officer. Now, the way that they portrayed him, he was portrayed as the comic relief. But no, it seems like today that is the officer that handles us on the daily.
Yes, and it handles it on the daily. And even if you're on the
Because they are not held accountable, then it's like society itself is saying, well, he gets a pass because they are not white.
well, yes, and then also, but going back to the sense of looking at the training, like even if you live in the business world, everybody has the diversity, equity, inclusion, and how we're sitting here and knowing, but those are those soft touch things that need to be incorporated in addition to your training, your on firearms and this. It just seems like they're just as the overreaction of pushing, I just need a cop on the street.
Yeah.
He may have those soft touches or those things that are not common or in common sense, but need to be more aware. And it's just they're just pushing these people out, and then you keep having these incidences, and then it's like, well, then they're just trying to cover it up. It's just sad.
Well,
My
Lori,
sister, I gotta okay.
no, go ahead, CJ.
My sister, I have an older video on Elephant Exposed, and one of the first videos that I was showing was the difference in how police officers handle a white person versus a black person. There's so many videos out there, hundreds of videos out there that shows how the officers, be them 1, 2, or even 20 officers on a scene, how they literally will have been shot at. They've been fought back with. They have taken knife. This one officer, he ended up getting cut and different things like that. He refused to shoot that white young man. But most of us can't even get out the car. We can't even pick up a wallet. We can't escalate ourselves. We can't bunk our chest out without it being deflated with a 40 cal. This is what we're saying. So I hear you, and I know even your husband and me, we did a show called Culture versus Training.
Mm-hmm.
Just on what you're saying right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's just an excuse. It's just an excuse, baby girl.
Yeah.
And it's just, I feel you. I really do. I feel you. I understand you. But this gets my goat.
Yeah.
It really does. And honest to God, I'm trying to keep it clean.
I know you are. I want to welcome in I see Tyler Adams is joining. Hey, Tyler. Hope everything's good. And also Jermaine now has sent in another comment, and I'm going to tie that together. I'm going to read his comment after I say this. Okay. It's not even training anymore, y'all. It's really more about empathy. And a lot of times, what's up, Tyler? And what normally things come down to is being empathetic is always about being able to put yourself in somebody else's shoes.
Yes, absolutely.
It's not sympathy where you feel sorry for someone.
Right. Exactly.
Sympathy is when you can sit there and remove yourself from the position that you're in, put yourself in somebody else's situation, and it gives you a different point of view as to how that can be viewed, not just from this position that you stand in, but from the position that the other person stands in. It's easier to be empathetic with people that you have similarities with. It's hard for me to empathize with a pregnant woman because I'm never going to be a woman. Well, I can be a woman. I can identify as one. But we'll talk about that in a second too.
Oh, Lord.
But I'll never be able to be pregnant. So it'd be very hard for me to sit there and say, girl, I don't know why you complaining that your ankles are swollen or why you want to eat pickles at 2 o'clock in the morning with ice cream. Hey, to me, that sounds crazy. There may be 10 other pregnant women that sit there and say, girl, you better go get them dill pickles, because they can empathize with that. I'm looking at y'all like y'all a bunch of nuts. So most people empathize with people that they can identify with. It's hard for somebody that is not of color to try to identify with a person of color. This is the biggest problem. It is not training. I can train you, like CJ said earlier, on the law. I can train you on, procedures, how to use your gun, when to draw your gun, and all of those types of things, and de-escalation. But until you can step out of your shoes and empathize with the person that you're dealing with, and I'm not talking about a situation where officers come into a heated situation and bullets are flying and everything else like that, and they got to make split time decisions. Totally get that. I have no problem with that. You still have to, you can't go all wide earth and, just start shooting all over the place either. But those are different situations. This is not one of those situations. This is a situation where there was an 8-year-old boy that allegedly stole a damn bag of chips that was treated as if he had sat there and robbed somebody for a whole lot of money. This would have been a teachable moment for this child where you could have taken a negative and turned it into a positive. Hell, exactly. Could have even inspired him to grow up and want to be able to become a police officer too.
There you go.
Instead of traumatizing him. Now I'm not saying that it's going to scar him for life, but it could. Now,
it very well can. And now, Jermaine, he's at that age.
Yeah, and now what Jermaine has said, so I can tie that in. The first thing that he had said was, if it's a question of equality or what is the right thing to do, then you only have to ask one question. Would they have treated a white child this way? The answer is no. Absolutely. Secondly, then Jermaine said, it's never a question of training. They know that there are no real repercussions for how they treat black men, women, or children. You don't see black officers doing the same thing to white people. Why? Because they know it wouldn't be tolerated by the white community.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I find nothing wrong in that, and that's the double standard, right? Where it's almost expected that if you see a bunch of white officers around one black person, the first thing people do when they pass by, I wonder what he did.
Exactly. It's the first thing that comes to your head. You're conditioned that way. It's played in the movies that way. It's implied all over the place. It's implied in the news. First, we gotta hold ourselves accountable because we are media. Okay, it's the media. It's the platform of it all. We give it life.
Yeah,
we give it life. We give it strength. We give it power. And because we give it life, we give it strength, we give it power. That's what I was talking about. That when you get situations like that, it's like it's almost like you're telling society it's okay to treat them like that because it's them. But if it looks like this,
they did something to elicit that response.
It's officer discretion. Oh, did you see how he handled him? Did you see? Oh, it was so beautiful. He's probably had that been a white child, I'm gonna tell you right now, at the end of the day, he would have received a little sticker that had a police badge on it. In their trunk, they would have gave him a little teddy bear, and they would have said, "Future police cadet."
Probably wouldn't give him a little damn hat.
Oh yeah. A business card would have went to the parents and said, hey, you know what? We really want to work with this little guy. We're going to keep an eye on him. And that would be yeah, exactly. They would have definitely cultivated this and turned it around to be a true positive thing, to where when you see it on Fox News, they won't even emphasize the like my sister said, the petty crime of it all. They'll be like, oh, and in good news, what would have been turned out to be a thief, turned into hey, we have a future police officer on our hands.
Yeah.
And that would have been the end of it.
Yeah, 'cause he would have been a great success story. Hey, do you know when he was 8 years old, we sat there and caught this little kid stealing a bag of chips, and now look at him today. He's just got out of the police academy, and the future looks bright.
He was stealing chips. Now he's stealing hearts.
Exactly. Yeah, panel has already weighed in on this. If you guys have any more to add, I'd love to go into it more, but I'm kind of like CJ. This is just another story in a long line of other stories that we'll be talking about, and when it comes to that. I thought that was you, Lori. I'm sorry. I thought you were clicking. Oh, you did it. You did mute yourself. Okay, I got you. Okay, running those cow runs. Okay, so this kind of ties into another thing that I was thinking in this the other subject that I put up. What is going on with hate in America? And I'm preempting all of this by saying, it's become obvious that hate motivates people to do a lot of really, really sick things. There's always been, when you look at people that don't look like you and the way that they're treated, it's always bad. I remember when I was coming up as a kid, you always had that friend that was just a little bit different. Mm-hmm. You know what was wrong with him. I had a friend, and why you always kind of acting a little soft? Why you act like a girl?
Yeah.
We didn't really know what all that was then.
Yeah, we didn't know what to call it.
Right. And a lot of times they were discouraged from calling it anything or even identifying that it existed.
Right.
And that really, really made a lot of people that were that same way or had that friend very, very insecure about owning their situation. This is what we call being in the closet.
Right.
And as a country and as a society globally, we've all come to a point now where folks are coming out of the closet. They don't automatically, a lot of times they still start out in that same insecure, because depending on the age that they're in, or even if they're later in age and them actually coming to that reality, a lot of times it's also about trying to figure out how you're going to be received by other people. Mm-hmm. And what they're going to think about you, particularly people in your own family. Are they going to accept me the way that I am? Or how are they going to receive me? Am I going to be disowned? And all those kind of things. I don't want people to stop loving me because I'm not like them. And those types of things. That's got to be, I grew up in a time where people kept trying to tell me that people choose to be gay. They're not born that way. It's a choice. Brian, you're black. You ain't had no choice in it. You're always going to be black. But this person that's gay has a choice of whether they're going to be gay or not. And that was just said. That was always thrown out there without one piece of evidence. It was just said as if it was just true. And honestly, I don't know if it's true or not. What I do believe is that if somebody believes that they're gay, who am I to tell them that they're not, or that we can condition you not to be gay? You would even, and then even back in the day, it would be kind of crazy because you'd say, why you talk gay? Why you walk like you gay? Like gay on the walk, gay on the talk. But it wasn't much different than when, you'd be at home with your mama and the phone would ring and then you say, man, mama on the phone again talking like a white lady. How does a white lady talk versus how does a black lady talk? So we're all conditioned in those certain things because, when your mom sit there and she sound all proper and stuff like that, we identify that as being white. When you slanging in ghetto and sounded ratchet, for a better word, then that means you're black. So we have those stereotypes kind of built in too. We don't think about them like that. But if you've been in the black house, you know what I mean when I say Mama put on her white voice on the phone. And then when she hang up that phone and the kids acting up, she go back to Mama 1.0 on you. And
Right.
because when she on the phone, you're listening to her and you like, I don't even know who that lady is.
Yeah.
Right. So
Right.
I get into all of that because now people are taking their religion and it is directing the way that they come into politics. People are running on platforms based on their own religious beliefs and not the beliefs that all men are created equal.
Mm.
I thought when you take into public office, you're swearing, you're pledging allegiance to the Constitution. What I'm finding is that I see more people pledging allegiance to their own personal views, their values, and their religion.
Okay.
And even in that, it's not like I see Muslims pushing their religion. I don't see Hindu pushing their religion. I don't see anything other than so-called Christians pushing what they perceive their religion is dictating them to do in their religion as public policy. For example, Florida implemented their Don't Say Gay bill. All of these laws are coming from a position of hate, hating of the other. The ones that, I just talked about in the last block about empathy. This is the whole anti-empathy, where I'm choosing not to understand the position of other people and trying to get those other people to conform to the way that I see a person should be. And if you do anything to step out of the way that we as Christians perceive someone to be, we will not accept you like Christians tell you that they love everybody and accept everybody as they are and everything else. They sit there then and determine we're going to create legislation to push you out and push you away. So, and then we create a lot of these legislations, not even based on things that are actually that real, but to stoke parents into believing that things are worse than they really are. For instance, they pass bills now to keep transgender kids from playing in sports if they weren't born as that particular gender. Even though this is something that is only affecting less than 2% of people out there, they want to spend time passing legislation as if it's something running rampant. And still not even identifying the issue that when somebody takes gender blockers and things like that, their testosterone levels are not the same if they were a boy. Now they're a boy. No, it doesn't work like that. Before I go any further, Jermaine said, what does it matter what someone else's sexuality is? Conservative Americans would have you believe that it is a root cause of the moral decline of the nation. At the same time, allowing child molesters to come to Thanksgiving or adultery to go unmentioned. Hypocrites. Absolutely. And the problem that I'm having now is that these folks, if you don't agree with them, they will now brand you as either being a groomer, meaning that you are causing a situation for people to become gay, or you are a pedophile.
Or sympathizer.
Or a pedophile or that you sympathize with pedophilia.
Yeah.
And that's really gross. I can't think of a worse thing to label somebody than a pedophile.
Right.
And when Ketanji Brown Jackson had her Senate hearing, everybody jumped on you sympathize with pedophiles because you're not sentencing them the way that we think you need to, even though you're within the guidelines of the law. And because her response to them always is Congress sets the actual guidelines for sentencing. I can't go willy-nilly and just start doing things because of that. Yeah, I just saw Jermaine's comment. Yeah, right. So I'm having an issue because it seems like people are influencing, and we knew that back in the day even when it came to abortion. There's so many people that want to sit there and talk about the morals of abortion and things like that. Now, if I go sit there and sleep around on my wife, isn't that a moral issue? You know,
From the very start.
if I sit there and embezzle money, isn't that a moral issue? You know, if I sit there and curse and swear, or hell, some people will say, well, you shouldn't smoke because you're destroying the temple and your body is a temple. You know, that ain't what that passage says. Or you shouldn't drink. Well, you know, gluttony can be alcohol or food, or it could be you being a hoarder in your house. That's gluttonous. That's you having an abundance of anything. And, you know, it's funny when people sit there and they cherry pick things out of the Bible.
And that's why I have a problem. That is my problem.
It's cherry pick.
Oh my God. B, you said so much. I can just like
go for it. I wanted to
So-
put a bunch of apples on it. You pick which one. you
yeah,
want.
for real, brother. Wow. So my immediate response is yes, I agree with you about everything you said. We gotta the way that I would respond to this overall is these mother suckers gotta pick a struggle. Either you're in or you're out. Either you're going to go by the rules and the laws that you set forth, or everything is great. I cannot stand this whole, like you said, you want to cherry pick just what's good for you. That's how things went crazy from the very start. Now I don't want to get too deep in it, but that's where your different beliefs in God and stuff like that even came from. Because when the original text and stuff came out, you had a group of people that was like, I don't like that, but I'll do that. Oh, no, I don't want to talk about that. Let's talk about this. And so that's how you get all kinds of denominations, all kinds of religions and everything else. Because you know what? I don't mind talking about your shortcomings. Just don't talk about mine. And I'll continue to contribute to your work that you got going on, but I'm not going to go to hers because it's a little ouchy over there, and no one wants to be told. That's the problem. No one wants to be told that they are wrong because it causes conviction. Conviction supposed to shift to change to make you a better person, but because we live in such a sensitive society, don't tell me I'm wrong. I'm my own person. I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And then you twist and you want to change the law and be like, you know, I got freedom of expression. I got freedom of religion. I got freedom. Yes, you do. But everything has context to it.
Hey, CJ.
Yes.
I'm working out my own salvation.
Oh, yeah, that one. He's still working on me. You know,
He ain't done with me yet. I'm still yet holding on.
Stop it. You're not fooling nobody. You're not fooling nobody. You have what my mama would call you, you know. My mama would call you have a form of religion.
Yeah.
It is definitely not your lifestyle. Now, as far as people, okay, so here's the thing. People love to hide behind the banner of Christian, of the title of it. Very few of us are walking it. Very few of us are even living it. From the foundation of this country, when they started writing out the Constitution, I forgot what the main religion was during that time, but it started out, I'm gonna say, with the proper intentions, or at least for the whites, you know, the white family, the white man, wife, and children. So, you know, they were trying to do what society deemed civilized and you know, very, you know, cultural aware, you know, and the belief in God and different things like that. So as time changed, more people came over, the more integrated we got. Now you opened up a can. You opened up a can because you left something in that Constitution that said the practice of religion, the freedom to practice religion. So now here come the flood.
Right.
Become all these different kinds of religions, and you in America, we can't shut you down because why? We said freedom of religion.
Yeah.
You know, you can believe or not believe, you can do this and that. So that's what happened. So now,
that's the problem. Is there really freedom of religion? Because it seems like when you're free of religion,
you have the freedom. You have the freedom to pick what I want for you.
Right.
That's what it really is.
Mm-hmm.
You have the freedom to pick what I want for you. Because if you are not in line with me, I'm going to shut you out. I'm going to isolate you. I'm going to close the door on you.
I'm going to vilify you. I'm going to start sticking stickers on you to say that you're a pedophile. I'm going to start putting stickers on you to say that you're grooming, that you're Disney and you're sexualizing children. And you're doing all these things because now you are a threat to what it is that we're trying to put out. And if you will not conform, you will be condemned.
Exactly.
Brad, I'm sorry.
No, I was going to talk about Brad's comment, but go ahead.
Yeah, no, Brad said again, all based on QAnon rhetoric about grooming kids for pedophilia. Their influence is unbelievable.
Oh, yes, sir.
And Brad, you know, it is unbelievable only to this point. They saw how many people
actually fed into that mess,
jumped on it and fed into it. They realized, you know, in the old days, you would have your liberals and your conservatives, and then you have fringe on both sides. I'm not going to both sides of this because there's really a worse fringe on this other side.
It really is.
There was definitely a little bit on either side when it came to the fringes. But for the most part, the more level-headed, common sense people kept everything running, even though it wasn't perfect either. But what they're starting to see is that little small voice that they called QAnon was actually bigger than they thought. And then they really said, wait a minute, they keep branding all these people as pedophiles, and they got these folks believing that all, you know, Democrats are sitting there having butt fucking kids and pizza parlors and stuff like that. And they really believe this stuff. They're eating it up, conspiracy theories and things like that. Mm-hmm. So now what you're starting to see, and you saw it in the Ketanji Brown Jackson hearing, is, hey, there's a certain part of our base that will eat this up when I start throwing out words like pedophile. And it's kind of crazy because, you know, I thought
it's a trigger.
Saying something against your brother was something that would not be looked upon well if you're a Christian. So if you're labeling people pedophiles and you have no idea if that person has anything to do with pedophilia or not, yet you're throwing that out there just so willy-nilly, that doesn't really sound like a Christian thing to do. So they're always at odds with themselves about
exactly, and that's what I'm talking about. It's the oxymoronic standpoint that they take. You know, it kind of goes back to that parable. I'm worried about the little splinter in your eye when I got a big old beam in mine. Bruh, pick a struggle. Pick a struggle.
No, you're right.
If you're claiming to be a believer in Christ, if you're claiming to follow God's law, whether it's Mosaic, whether it's biblical, look, I can break it down. I can keep you here all day. The point about it is this right here. Whatever you claim, you better be living it. You better be living it. And that's it. Yeah. That's it in a nutshell.
And here's the other thing. Freedom of religion means that I don't have to believe what you believe to exist in this world, and it doesn't make me any lesser of a citizen.
It doesn't.
I'm no less of an American if I sit there and I worship a cow. I'm no different than if I believe in, well, I ain't gonna name all the different things because, you know, I may believe in some of those things. But just because my views don't line up with
yours
like that, don't line up with yours, doesn't mean that I'm any less of a person. And you don't need to create legislation that makes it where it seems like your religion is the dominant strain in everything. You can't do that because you are isolating people.
Right.
You can't sit there and say because you're gay, you're trans, you're bisexual, you're gender fluid,
your sexuality,
you're all these different things. So these are things that they're using to scare people into saying, listen, if they start talking about that at school, you know what's going to happen one day. Your kid going to come home and Your little boy gonna want to sit there and start kissing on other little boys.
Okay, so basically,
because they talked about it at school. So
what,
then they wrap it into, okay, I told you before in other episodes, they love branding and packaging. So now they brand it into what we're trying to do is make sure that there's parental control. And what these liberal schools and these school boards are doing is trying to take away our parental control. You know, when Terry McAuliffe tried to run for governor of Virginia, he said what he said was true. It was inartful. That parents can't sit there and be trying to dictate to the schools what to teach their kids, because you would have stuff all over the place.
Yeah.
Because one parent would say, well, I think this should be taught, and I think this should be taught. Hell, you barely made it through school. You can't come up with no damn curriculum. What's the point of sitting there having these people go to higher education and have all these degrees and PhDs behind their name if the people that sit there and wear their name on their damn shirt every day to work sit there and get to tell them what the curriculum should be? And I ain't knocking anybody if you got on a name tag right now and you're getting mad, chill. I'm just saying, but you know, doctors, I guess they do have their name on there, stitched in and stuff like that. But you know what I'm talking about, Waffle House. Ain't nothing wrong with that. You're making a living. But what I'm saying is that if that's what you're doing, you probably don't have the credentials to tell somebody with a PhD in education what curriculum should be set for your child.
Right.
But what they tried to package him saying was parents should have no right or no input into what their kids are taught and not taught. Parents should have input, but the final decisions need to be made by the experts. That would be like me going to the doctor and the doctor saying, well, Mr. Parker, if you don't get this transplant, you're going to die. And me saying, well, hold on, doc. I need to sit there and decide, you know. And it's like, okay, you can do that, but you're going to die. You know, I don't know what happened to parents where they feel so victimized that they're going to lose their kids. If, you know, you remember back in the day, I ain't want to hang around a gay person. Why?
Because some of they gay may rub off
on wear off on me.
Come out being gay. Yeah.
These people still think that. They still think that if I'm too close to somebody else like that, I'm going to start switching when I walk. I'm going to start talking with a high pitched voice. I might want to sit there and wear a little mascara or something like that. That's what they perceive, which is the most ignorant things that you can do. And then they take their kids and they want their kids to be just as closed-minded and ignorant as they are.
Right. So bouncing off of what you said, right? I had a little childhood memory to pop up about public school versus private school, like the differences between the girls. We used to love, as us being public students. I'm gonna say it. I'm going to put it on out here.
No, I just want to see Lori's face because she went to private school.
We used to. Lori, you were the primary target for a public school boy. You know why? Because we knew you were closed up. We knew that you didn't have life experiences like we had in public school. You were the perfect target. So our whole entire goal was to go corrupt you. Okay? Because we knew that you were lacking public social skills like that.
Okay.
So, and so therefore, they're kind of taking that same mentality. That's what I'm saying. So, like these QAnon believers and everything else, they're basically saying that I can't even have my children in public society, and that's why they took them out of public schools. That's why they put them in private schools. That's why they're home teaching them, because they are perpetuating this fear-mongering machine within. And that's why this ignorance is not going to go nowhere, guys.
Yeah.
It's not going to go nowhere. It's only going to get worse. What did I say at the beginning of the show? We've only just begun.
You're right. The floodgates are open, CJ, where people are now just, you know, I get it. If you believe in the traditional family, mom, dad, 2 kids, white picket fence in the house, and a dog and everything else, and that is your idea of America, and apple pie and all that kind of stuff, and the American flag hanging out the side of your house, and you think that works for you, that is great. But you can't make laws based on your small vision of what it means to be an American, and anything outside of that, then you're simply just not. Jermaine says, and we got a little a love from Hopeless Romantic web series. Thanks so much for supporting. Absolutely. Cannot wait to see CJ. We heard that note. Yes. CJ tried to hit a note. Now, if you want to hear mine.
Oh, stop that. Stop that.
Actually,
Thank you, Hopeless Romantic.
Yeah. CJ's trying to come up with some music for season 2 so that they can play it in the background and stuff. But yeah, since they're watching, everybody, I will say again, Hopeless Romantic will be debuting the season finale 9 p.m. tonight on YouTube. Catch the pre-show with the cast and crew at 8:30. If you don't have that link, you can catch it on my page, or just simply go to YouTube, search for Hopeless Romantic web series, subscribe. That way you can also, hopefully you've been up to date on the episodes. If you haven't, I can't think of a better hour and a half, 2 hours worth of show to just go in and watch the episodes back to back to back. It will have you crying. It'll have you laughing. Tonight is not going to be any less spectacular. It's going to be some fireworks. I ain't going to tell you what's going to happen, but it is going to be off the chain. That's all I can say. So yes, we played a little bit of the clip earlier, but definitely watch it tonight. Catch the pre-show at 8:30. I will be on. I'm going to be the guest speaker, MC, bartender, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Anyway, male talent, escort, all that. Why are you looking at me like that?
Can I read Jermaine's comment?
Go ahead. Yes, go ahead.
I appreciate the plugs and everything and your new titles, but
Shameless marketing 101.
Yeah, this is head to head with Brian Parker. But you know what? Let's see what happens when you do this.
Oh my gosh, he's crazy.
Go on with your comment.
So Jermaine had a comment and said the only people worried about standing next to someone and to be infected by their sexuality are people who don't want you to know how similar they are to those people.
Hey man. Hercules.
Really?
Go ahead.
Now, so with Lori Parker, now everybody gonna start jumping on. Okay, I got you. He said, "Oh, hey, Brian. Yeah, I'm back. I'm back.
Oh, Brad, crazy."
But you know what? Jermaine is absolutely right. There's a lot of people that, you know what? If there's another gay person in the room, now I'm wondering if somebody might see that I have some tendencies.
Ooh. That shit might come a little.
You know what? There's a lot of projection out there. So a lot of times the things that people try to act like they so much against, those
are the main ones. And you know what? About my wife and I have those very same type of comments. So going back to your original question, where does that hate come from? It comes from that. That's why you had gay people, just being beat down and victimized and so forth and everything, because they saw that at least that person is out, and they're trying to live their truth or whatever. They trying to just be themselves, and I can't, and I got to keep mine balled up, and I hate you for being you. Right. That's what I see in my head. Because I'm like, because other than that, someone living an alternate life than my choice, I can care less. It does not faze me. It does not bother me. You ain't living my life.
What's up,
and I'm not living yours.
All right. So, my man Eric Ashcraft, what's up?
That's how all this stuff got started. Is that you would go in there, you would see the news and you see how somebody got beat down and just picked on and or whatever, or someone's committing suicide because of whatever the situation was, and you're like, why did they kill themselves? And they're like, because they wasn't accepted by family, friends, and their surrounding ones and stuff like. And if you have any any inkling of humanality within your fiber, you can at least empathize with it. No, you don't have to agree with the life, you know, but at the same time, that person don't have to be a target either.
Right.
Of your aggression and of your ignorance or of your whatever you got going on. It's because you're really trying to fight that feeling yourself.
we in our lively discussion we happened to miss a comment and we did not acknowledge it. So
yeah, I was about
acknowledge
to
a comment from my mother-in-law Sarah Parker. So she says the Christian faith mission is to go into all the world and share the love of Jesus to everyone, and it is his desire that all of his children are with him.
Amen.
Thanks, Mom.
Wow.
Wow.
You know, you know, we're getting close to the end of the show, so I want to make sure that we have some time for our final thoughts. So, because we can definitely, and we definitely will continue to have a conversation about how religion is really dragging down legislation, how it's affecting the way that people deal with each other and everything else like that. It's becoming very toxic, to say the least. But Lori, I'll let you get into your final thought.
My final thoughts is with everything that's going on, you need to sit there and to be aware of what is going on. Recently, yesterday evening, they did post the debate for the Republican senators that are running here in North Carolina. It was running last night. I think it will be replayed again over the weekend. If you have any availability, and again, going back to Your Vote Matters, you need to hear what these individuals are saying, and is leading to a lot of things that we had discussed today, and especially with the branding of parental controls. So again, you need to make sure that you know the candidates that you're voting for.
There you go. All right, CJ.
I would like to recite something when we was bouncing off of the 8-year-old being arrested. So this is a Master at Arms creed, and if you don't know who or what a Master at Arms is, it's a military police officer. So anytime you hear Master at Arms, just put in military police. It says, "I am a Master at Arms. I hold allegiance to my country, devotion to duty, and personal integrity above all. I wear my shield of authority with dignity, restraint, and promote by example high standards of conduct, appearance, courtesy, and performance. I seek no favor because of my position. I perform my duties in a firm, courteous, and impartial manner. I strive to merit the respect of my shipmates," this is Navy, "and all whom I come in contact." The reason why I wanted to share this, guys, is because just like in the Navy, I was a police officer, and before then I worked for the deputy sheriff. Every agency has a standard or a code or a creed that they go by, but it has a very, very similar wording in there. Had these offices and the people in these offices really took the time to really implement what they say, we would be in a better place. So we need to take these words, we need to take these creeds, we need to take what's literally written in black and white and actually live by them as being officers and former police officers, trainers, facilitators of law enforcement, so where we won't end up with situations like this, period.
All right. Thank y'all for those final thoughts. Now, I'm going to get into it. Put it on me. Zoom me in. Zoom me in. I need a zoom. I need a zoom. No, I don't want it that way. Hold on. I don't know what happened, Lori. Oh, you know what, Lori? I know why it's doing.
Oh, you the host, Lori. You the host.
There we go. All right. I'm going to go in now. I got to figure it out. So listen, my final thought is going to be this. We talked about Christian beliefs and everything else. We talk about how those that want to be Christians are trying to influence a lot of policies. Can you be a Christian and a politician at the same time without imposing your Christian beliefs? It's a fine line to walk, but it's one that needs to be respected. There's always been the creed separation between church and state for this very reason, because we knew that people can take their ideology a lot of times from the Christian values and let those leak out to affect people that do not share those same beliefs. And that's really where we are now. We're at war with ourselves because we cannot reconcile the difference between what my faith leads me to believe and guide me on a daily basis and how that should impact my neighbor, the person down the street, or anybody else. And if I can't sit there and see the best of them, am I really using my Christian values? You know, we just celebrated Easter, a Christian holiday. And Easter isn't about a rabbit and a bunch of painted eggs or anything like that. Easter was the story of a person stretching themselves on a piece of wood and allowing other people that did not agree with him to cancel him, meaning to take his life. Easter was a day that showed victory over all of those things, all of the sins that you took and you put on one person. You know, it's funny when they say, well, why do we sit there and do these programs to take care of the less fortunate? Why don't they pull themselves up on the bootstraps? Why do we sit there and care about social programs? Why do we sit there, you know, why do I pay all these taxes that go to other people that are lazy and this and that and the other? I want you to ask yourself the question, Christians. If Jesus had said, you know what? I'm the Son of God. Why should I come down and take all the crap that you've done and your unborn children, grandchildren, and future generations and lay it all out? Where would you be? Isn't Easter more about celebrating the sacrifice that somebody did for somebody that wasn't even born yet? Wasn't that what Easter was about? Wasn't it about somebody showing that I don't even have to know you to empathize and show you love? Wasn't that what Easter was about? So now when you're sitting there and you see somebody that is from the LGBTQIA community, I'm not asking you to stretch your arms out. I'm asking you to wrap your arms around and love them because they're no different than you are. That is my final thought for this week. Family, thank you so much for joining. We'll see y'all again next week. Take care.
And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it.
And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it. And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta